We've been visiting with a number of the Battle Creek City Commission candidates, and for this visit next, we'll focus on Ward 1, and one of the names you'll see on the ballot a week from today is Kristin Blood, and she's here today to visit with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for being with us. We didn't plan it this way, but blood on Halloween. Somehow it worked out that way.
It's a great, way to have it, right? I didn't even think about it, but you got some fresh blood for the commission, and you got the blood here on October
Halloween.
31st. It's great. I just didn't wear my fangs today. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, well, that's okay.
Yeah.
I manage without it. So talk a little bit about your experience.
So politically, I don't have experience, to be honest. So I've never run for an office. So I don't have that. But in life and having those experiences, I have a lot. So, my degree is in biology with minors in chemistry and communications. And having that communication piece is one of the most important things because being able to communicate with others, being able to communicate with citizens, constituents, and other cities, right, our neighboring cities is very important. So I bring experience to the table from that. I also have been very involved in things happening at the community level and volunteering. So I'm on the ground. I'm actually interacting with people. And so there really isn't this space between me and the people that I'm going to be serving. So I bring that to the table as well. And I have a lot of enthusiasm. So, a lot of people say, oh, you're new to Battle Creek. Yeah, I am. But that means I have some fresh ideas. That means I'm thinking outside that box. And I'm really always enthusiastic about getting a job done, any job. And, you just got to be hopeful. And, if it takes me smiling and bringing that hope to the table, then hopefully I'll encourage other people to have that.
What do you think the number one issue is right now?
So I think one of our number one issues really is a foundational issue of communication. So when you think about communicating anything to the citizens or the citizens to us, making it a process in which everyone feels equally welcome at the table, as you say, is very important to me. Communication in transparency in our budget, transparency in how we run our government, even at the local level is very important. You think about the big overlooming federal thing and how everything's kind of bogged down with, blacking things out and being very secretive, which comes, is necessary in some points, but not in all. And we can eliminate some of that at that local level. And I think we can better communicate some things that kind of get hyped up in wording. We can kind of bring that down and make it easily understood, and really be out in our community and listening. Sometimes all we want to do is talk about it and we want to tell you how to fix it. And really we need to hear first before we can really tell someone what to do, because if we don't have all the information, then we're not really well equipped or knowledgeable to fix it.
Is there an example in Battle Creek now, you think, where we've not communicated as much as we should?
Well, not that we haven't communicated as much as we should, but maybe some better communications. So, as you hit the streets and you knock on doors, you realize what some people are wanting. In one area, it's one thing. In another area of town, it's another thing, because it's a different perspective from people that are living there. So as I walked one of the areas, some of the people are like, oh, I really don't understand code compliance. Well, what can we do about that, right? How can we create better conversations between citizens and code compliance? One of the things, I started doing, I'm only a citizen at this point, I'm not anybody special, is I rode with code compliance. I said, hey, I want to understand what you're seeing from your point of view so I can better understand the whole picture, because I can hear one thing from a citizen, but code compliance also has a voice. Everybody has a voice at that table. So I went on a ride along, kind of understood where they were coming from, what they were looking for, what they saw, and kind of the difficulties of their position as well. Also from the citizen point of view, because I said, code compliance, come to my house. Take a look at my house. What do you see? Tell me what you see.
So is that what you heard most often when you were talking to folks in Ward 1?
In one area. No, just one area. So Ward 1, when you look at Ward 1, you have the area that is on the northern end, Urbandale area, which people call it. And then you have an area, small area on the, I don't even know if it's really the south end of town, but on the other side of Dickman Road, and you have the numbered streets in there. So So in the numbered streets, I didn't hear a lot about code compliance, but when you go to the NPC meetings, it's a lot. There's a lot of speeding. There's a lot of, this and that. And so I've been doing ride-alongs with police officers, and I've been targeting specifically the Prairie View and Urbandale area, Ward 1, to see what the officers are doing, to see what they're seeing and saying. Because again, you have a whole conversation. You can't just have one side. You need to understand both sides. And that's very important, because then you can bring that information to the NPC. So if people don't know what NPCs are, here's my plug for NPCs. So there are NPCs, which are neighborhood planning councils. They happen all over the city in, pocket neighborhoods, and you can find this information online. Can we post a link?
We can, sure.
Okay, great. We'll post that link. And so you go to these meetings, and at these meetings, you have someone from code compliance there, a city employee. You should have a commissioner there, which would be very nice if every NPC had a commissioner. And you also have an officer there giving a report. So you're able to go to that meeting and meet an officer and say, hey, I have an individual concern. Hey, code compliance officer, I have an individual concern. And start that dialogue, because if you never start that dialogue, we never move forward. And they're only going off the voices that show up.
Kristin Blood is on the ballot for Ward 1, Battle Creek City Commission. Communication, as you can see, is her passion in this particular race, and we appreciate your visiting us to communicate that.
Absolutely.
All right. Best of luck to you, and thank you.
Have a good Halloween.
You too.